podcast is, it's cool. It's just got its driver's license. It's episode 16.
I like what you
Like
did
that.
there.
Right there.
I remember not getting my full license until after high school.
Forever. Like you wait forever.
Until after high school. And so what happened was I took the bus until my very last day.
Yeah, you waited for like longer than high school.
I remember my last day of high school.
You get your G, so
on
like your
the
learner's
school
permit.
bus.
Get your learner's permit, and that was it, right?
That was it, man. I never got around to getting the G2 while I was in high school.
Yeah. So in Canada, we have this in Ontario, Canada, in our province, we have a graduated licensing system where it starts with you get the G1, the G2, and then the G. And those are the different graduated licenses. So your G1 is like your learner's permit, which means you can't drive alone. You got to drive with a licensed driver.
That's right.
So it's basically your practicing permit. And then your G2 means you can pretty much do everything except there are a couple small stipulations on your license. And then your G is like your full shebang.
That's right. That's right. So basically what happened
so James only had his learner's permit for how many years was it? It was like you were in university after and still didn't have it.
No. John, come on. I ended up getting it, I think, right after I finished high school, my G2, but I just remember not having it while I was in high school. And the funny thing was that we had got a truck when we were in our teens.
Right.
And a 72 Chevy Cheyenne, which was like the coolest that there was nothing at that time that was cooler, I think, in our lives that just, made other
Might
than
still be the case for me.
We loved our instruments as much, but and the bus was very, very cool.
But that truck, we still have it. It's been.
I guess that's all to say. We were pretty fortunate in general.
We were.
So
we were.
I really didn't suffer that bad.
You and I bought that together. We were performing
riding the bus
in Owensboro, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And on the way down, we stopped in Evansville, Indiana. This little truck. This little it's not. It was like a car shop with these cool overhauled vehicles. In this really small town in southern Indiana, and we stopped and looked at it on the way to the show and thought, man, that's a nice truck. And then we thought about it, you and I thought about it more, and we were 13 and 16 then, but we had a whole bunch in savings. We kind of put it away and stuff like that. And we went to the gig, and then on the way back, we decided that we were going to get it together, something like that. And anyway, we did get it, and then we had to fly back down at some point to get it.
The whole reason I brought it up is the fact that it was supposed to be both of our truck, but I never got to drive it to high school, which is that's always the classic, like being able to drive, some sort of car.
I drove to high school.
So John did, and I never did.
But I also,
you're lucky.
After I was out of high school, I drove you to high school. I'm the opposite. I guess maybe it's an older brother thing, because once you had your older brother could drive, there was a bit of freedom there, right?
Yeah.
Rather than just mom and dad driving.
Yeah. So you drove me sometimes, which is nice.
I drove you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I drove. John, can you come pick me up at school? Yeah. I missed the bus. I had to do something else. No, I was the kid who I got my learner's permit on my birthday, and I got my G2 on my birthday the next year as soon as I could possibly get it. And but you know what?
Must have been nice, eh, John?
Well, you could have gone.
We got Dark.
You could have gone. You postponed it.
We got Dark Wolves in here. We got Elisa. We got Akeem. Everybody's asking how we've been. We've been doing really well. We had a great weekend.
Really great weekend.
We will get into that in a few minutes, but I want to say that off of that truck conversation and driving conversation, I went to the store, John. A store, I won't necessarily name the place, but it started with a W, and it's one of the biggest chains in the world. I'll leave it at that. One of my favorite stores.
Well, we don't have Walgreens in Canada.
No, even though sometimes it kills small business, and I don't like that aspect of it. But I'm a big fan of this spot. And you know what?
This big spot. Big spot.
I chatted with you on the weekend about going into stores, and especially at this place, there's aisles and aisles of just the coolest toys, and as a kid, you'd go into these sort of stores, and
it's true.
you'd look at the toys and you'd go, oh my goodness, look at all the different types. And I would.
There was never enough time.
Same with Toys R Us, which unfortunately isn't around, right?
Well, we still have in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So anyways, you go into a place like that. I mean, that's an example. I might as well just say the store I was in. I was in Walmart, okay? And they aren't necessarily what Toys R Us is, but Toys R Us would have it's piled all to the ceiling. It's like a kid's heaven in there, like just a little kid's heaven, with all the toys. And at that time, you think to yourself, man, when I grow up, I'm gonna come into one of these stores and I'm gonna if I see something, I'm gonna buy it. If I got the money, I'm gonna buy it, right?
Buy it, yeah.
And then as you get older, you just kind of forget.
Oh, I did.
You just kind of forget, John.
Well, you did.
Unless you're John and you end up spending a couple $1,000s on Lego over.
Okay, well, I was like 20 years old, and I don't know if it was that much, but it was a lot of money.
Well, undisclosed amount.
An undisclosed amount. Well, I don't know. I'll call it what it is. I spent.
Hey, Madison, thanks for
a lot of money on Lego when I was like 20 years old, and we'd moved downtown, and suddenly, you're just sort of just doing your own deal, owning your own thing. And I was the guy who, as an adult, I was like, yeah, well, now I can drive to Toys R Us and do it myself. So I don't regret it. Still have those Lego sets. I do set them up every so often, still get a lot of joy out of them. Listen, folks, you got to play your whole life, not just as a kid. You got to keep playing as an adult.
I agree.
You got to keep that fun going, because you know what? Those are the little joys.
And the thing is I decided when I went into this store, Walmart, that, you know what? I'm going to go down the toy aisle and find myself a little remote controlled truck.
Yes.
It's a monster
Wonder what
truck.
you're hiding down there.
Monster truck. So what we're gonna do here is unbox this bad boy.
Monster Jam.
And we got some batteries. John, open it up.
Is it a remote control?
It's a remote control.
Man, you know what? This
we're gonna have to make
Christmas
some room.
morning for us.
We're gonna have to make some room.
Okay.
And I'm gonna drive it on the table here. It might be loud.
Well,
okay, let's open it up.
Technology's better.
And let's try to do this relatively quickly, because this isn't all we're gonna be doing today.
I know. Well, this is the unboxing video. It seems nicely boxed. It's got some good graphics on it.
Maybe this might be our opportunity to pivot into what's that kid's name? It's like Tyler Opens Toys or something. He's on YouTube.
Is that a YouTube guy? I haven't seen him.
This kid generates like tens of millions of dollars a year opening toys. He generates tens of millions of dollars a year
opening toys.
Yeah.
Wow. So to buy more toys.
I certainly hope that his parents are saving that for college or something.
How old is he?
I can't remember his name, but there's big ones.
That would
he actually, I think he was the #1 channel, like in terms of making
unboxing videos.
I think generating money on YouTube. I don't know how, but
breaking
I think
into Fort Knox. Like, this is a serious high stakes deal.
So as I said, I got this.
Okay.
I also thought it would be a little symbol of off-road.
This is sweet. Oh, this is totally off-road.
Nice.
I see what you did
there.
Yeah,
thanks, John.
Very nice, James.
So I just kind of wandered the toy aisles, and this was the one I decided to. Well, clearly we aren't taking this one back now.
A lot of packaging.
You ripped that apart.
Huh?
Not that I planned on.
Were you planning?
It's a part of the set. It's a part of the set. We got old.
Well, it's kind of hard to. It was kind of hard to unbox without kind of ripping
Pete.
it up. Okay, we got. Oh, I see what this is. Okay, so this is screwed right in.
I said I wanted to open it beforehand, and then it was going to be a little thing, but John wanted to unbox it. He thought that this was a good idea.
Oh, see, and look at that, man. You exposed me. I sort of made it all like on the podcast, like I just discovered it when you pulled it up.
Oh.
See that? You're like, I was like, oh, I wonder what you were hiding down there. See, everybody, there you go. I was just trying to make it like entertaining.
Another reason why I wanted to get one of these little remote controlled trucks is because as a kid, I always wanted. You need a screwdriver. I'll tell you guys a little story. I'll tell you guys a little story here. As a kid, I always wanted one of those little battery-powered, cars. The little cars that you can get into. They got maybe a little sound system. They're made of plastic, and if you you can actually switch out the batteries and juice up the batteries and get those things going really fast. I wouldn't have done that as a kid, but one of those little Jeep Grand Cherokees, little maybe a little Hummer, a little mini Hummer, little Cadillac Escalade, and get in that car and drive around, pretend as if that was a real car. And as a kid, my brother had a dump truck, a little plastic dump truck. He would drive around on, and
Big Jake is what it was called.
the name was the Big Jake.
Yeah.
And James had the big nothing. He had the big no toy. And
But you know what, man? The Big Jake I've used probably twice because it ran off a car battery.
oh my goodness.
It took 5 hours to charge and it only ran for 10 minutes.
So I never got one of those. So this maybe is to fill that hole,
Right. So
to fill that void. And
oh, I like this. This is gonna be fun, man. Okay, we got batteries,
yeah.
right?
Now this needs batteries too. So open this up. Here, take as many
Okay, so we got some
AAAs as you
AAAs.
need.
Very nice, very nice.
Did I get the
You
right
did your
ones?
research? Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's okay, I got AAAs downstairs too.
Good.
Okay, so we got that all set up.
This is not a very good.
We're like kids on Christmas morning here, eh? No, here. Is that the right size for that? Oh yeah, it is.
I think so. You know what looks also good in those stores is those drones, eh? They'd be fun.
They've got like stuff that we would have gone nuts
Yeah,
for as kids.
I know.
Like having your own remote control helicopters that are affordable.
Yep.
That's a whole deal. Look at this, man. Okay, now, just carefully don't drive this off the table. This is exactly what you're gonna do. You drive it right off the table. Oh, here it goes.
Wait. Should I even put the back on this thing? I don't even need it.
Maybe not. Oh!
John, I'm a professional.
Nice. Does it turn both ways? Oh yeah, that's it. Remember when we were kids, they only turned left. A lot of them only turned left or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's nice. Pretty good hand.
Hey, that's all she wrote for that guy. So let me give a description. This is a classic monster truck, like
it's really on.
like everyone knows the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger. This one is the Monster Mutt, I think.
Yeah, it's a Dalmatian dog. That's so funny. Bring it up on the table again.
Careful.
Ooh. Burnouts. Does it leave black streaks? No, not quite. We should get this out on the road after, man. I think this is great.
No, put it on the table. We want to.
Okay, we're gonna keep it up here. Let's turn it off. Save battery though.
Okay. So this one's the Monster Mutt, and there's the Megalodon and the Gravedigger are apparently.
So these are actual
Yeah.
monster truck rally trucks in real life, like
Yeah.
driven by people.
Yeah.
So this is like basically the equivalent of a hockey action figure
Yeah. So, anyways, I thought that one was
or the wrestling action figure.
was the most fitting for our show, and I also thought that your dogs would be terrified by it.
Oh, we'll do that. After.
Yeah, but
Maybe
they might destroy it.
We should get some video of
Oh,
them
put it on
chasing
Instagram.
Get it on Instagram.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
That's a good idea, John.
Get it
Now
on-
you're thinking
get it
of
on the podcast.
ideas.
Getting them cranked.
So, anyways, that's kind
fun.
of the end of that bit. But it's kind of
that's
giving me some joy today.
Lifelong play.
And
That's why we still try and do. You know what? You take your hockey stick when we're on the road. You've always been good to bring stuff along, like a stick and a ball, and try and get a little bit of a pickup hockey game going when we're parked at a parking lot somewhere at Flying J. You feel like you've been always good for that, right? Stuff like that's important. So you got to try and keep the fun going along. I mean, listen, our job is fun. Like we're not like we absolutely love our job. But sometimes you like to have a little break and have some.
So I'm good at
Playtime.
bringing the joy to the.
I think so.
Okay,
I think
great.
you do good, yeah.
That's nice.
Like you bring the pickup hockey and you bring the
I do.
Nintendo games and the PlayStation games on the bus.
I
And,
do.
you know.
We have Darcy Osborne in here. She says,
Yay!
I overheard you talking while Maddie listens to you guys, or I overhear you talking. This is the reason. This is the reason you have kids, to buy all the toys you never had.
That's awesome.
It's also an excuse to go to theme parks. Well, we've talked about theme parks,
huge.
especially about Disney, and we are big Disney fans. And obviously, once all this quarantine stuff. Now that's
Oh,
open, we talked about how they reopened, but we're big
We
fans.
can't go.
We're gonna go back.
Yeah,
I
we can
want.
go to the States.
Yeah, yeah.
not
We
for
definitely want to
leisure.
go to the Star Wars world thing, and that's at
Oh,
Disney.
badly.
Go
badly.
to Moss Eisley
But listen,
Cantina.
when we go to the Star Wars world, we're there for a minimum of 5 days. Minimum.
Yeah, no. We're gonna stay in the
Like I have to exist in that world for a long period of time. You know that. Like it's not like a day, like rush around. It's like I have to be immersed.
We're gonna stay in the Disney, one of the Disney hotels.
I think so.
Do the whole thing. We never
We
did
never
that
did-
whole
we
thing.
Never did the Disney hotel.
We went to Disneyland as kids, and it was one of my favorite memories of my childhood.
Good time.
Amy says, "Hey guys, hope you're well. I turned 22 today. Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Amy. Happy birthday to you." Nice. Okay.
I wanted to do the.
Eliza says, "Happy birthday, Amy." She says, "Thank you, Lol Akeem." I guess he finds everything funny.
Oh, I think it's cool.
Darcy
smile.
says, "Put some dog treats on it." Or
That's smart.
yeah,
You know what? I don't even think we have to. I think the dogs are gonna go nuts for this thing.
or chicken feed and drive it around the farm.
Oh, that'd be fun.
There's you're giving us lots of ideas for our Instagram.
This is stuff that they must do.
Yeah, maybe. Eliza says, "I remember seeing the big version of that on Monster Jam." Yeah, so it's
I've never seen this one. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, it's definitely a legitimate legend of
Seems
that
nice
of
it
that
seems like
field.
aerodynamic. You know, like it's definitely aerodynamic.
That was my favorite of those ones. They had the other ones.
Yeah, I like, but you know what? 101 Dalmatians, because this is like a Dalmatian dog. Clearly,
Yeah.
I mean that's the deal. Monster Mutt Dalmatian, and 101 Dalmatians is honestly one of my absolute, I'd say top 3 favorite Disney movies.
Yeah,
Hands down. I've loved that movie.
it's a good one. I love in the beginning
kid.
where they talk about how dogs represent the
They
owners.
look like the owners. Oh yeah,
We've talked about this.
I also like, my favorite part of that movie is the barking chain or whatever, where they have like a. It's also old England kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love it. It's all kind of like rainy.
Yeah,
And then they go
yeah.
to the countryside, and there's the old like Colonel dog that's like the horse with the old English sheepdog who's like the general and stuff. And I love that.
Well, and we've talked
love
about
that.
playing in England a bunch, and obviously we've talked about how Amy's from England and her family's from England. But that's
Those
when
old
you
manor
go over
houses.
there,
the DeVille house.
yeah, it brings back
the old
those kind of
manor.
memories of that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Anyways, over the weekend, we had the opportunity to go to Prince Edward County.
Yeah.
So a little closer to some of our family that are here in the stream.
That's right. That's right.
And we didn't get to go over and say hello, but
we were there really short time.
Yeah, we were there
just
short
overnight,
time.
Just overnight.
And we got to go to some restaurants in the county that we can talk about here. John went fishing.
I did.
I
did.
And we played a little game of Monopoly, and we'll leave a little cliffhanger and talk about it in a few minutes here. But someone may have won that game.
Okay.
And I may have a photo.
Okay.
I may have a photo to prove how badly I won.
Okay. And
Or
badly,
how badly others lost.
No. Badly James won is the best way to describe it. Here's why, okay? From the beginning of the game, he's stressed out because he's not getting Boardwalk, because James, for some reason, absolutely
You want to get in this right now? Or
James idolizes Boardwalk. Like it's the only space that ever makes any money. Meanwhile, you actually beat everybody else on other properties.
Yeah. I don't want to give away my strategy, but that kind of was a little bit of my strategy.
What? What do you mean?
My strategy is
like make everybody believe you want a Boardwalk.
We may never play again, so it's fine. But what you got to do is it's there's a simple line, John. There's a simple line, and it's often used in warfare: divide and conquer.
Okay, I get that. I appreciate it. I kind of sensed a little bit of that early on. But here, James is going on about how stressed out he is.
I even threatened that if I don't get Boardwalk, I'm just going to walk away from the game.
Yeah, but then he wins the game, and then he's still stressed out.
I was a little stressed out.
We were all like, dude, you won and you're stressed out because it's like it gets a little too real for you, doesn't
Yeah,
it? It's like
yeah,
feels too much like
the dollars and
losing
cents,
money
the
and-
properties,
honestly,
the
I
deeds.
don't understand how in the Great Depression
I
that
know.
made people feel better.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's
I
no
mean,
way.
handling money, I guess, just made people.
Well,
feel
that's what's the
better.
concept. It actually made people.
Yeah, it's worse. It's like I have to lose.
Yeah. So in real life, I'm losing my money.
Yeah,
And in
and then I have
Monopoly,
to
I'm
lose
also
again.
losing my money when I'm
Yeah,
playing board
maybe I
games.
win, but maybe you're losing it twice.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely antithetical to the whole concept of making people feel. Should have been like free money for everybody game. That's the Great Depression antidote.
So
I'm worried. We are in a recession right now.
I'm gonna pull up a little photo here and show you guys this picture of my what I ended up having.
Did you take a picture of the board?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you on the slide.
Yeah.
On the slide.
Yeah.
James
I did take a picture.
Oh, I'm so
John.
stressed out.
There you go. So as you can see here,
wow,
we got pretty far into it. We had a bunch of houses had been purchased. We were close on multiple occasions of hotels.
That is
but we only had about 3 people. So it's quicker when there's less people. John was chatting about that, and he's right. It's quicker when you have less people. And so what happened was we didn't get to hotels before people got bankrupt.
Well, it's also because 3 of us, the game ends.
But you can see here,
somebody loses faster when there's 3 people.
You can see here,
than 4.
I ended up with both the top properties, but
right.
If you actually get the green or the yellow,
those are great properties.
And you ensure that nobody else has the higher level properties than you, that on top of a little bit of dice luck, and you should statistically end up with bankrupting other people.
Okay, yeah, dice luck. All right, here's the thing with James that he's leaving.
How many times did I land on chance in community chess?
No. You did.
I did most of the game.
Okay, flip it back to
okay, but just hold on one sec. We see that I had all the yellow properties. I had both the blue. And see what you do is you get 1 green. Okay, this purple was a decoy. That's the cheapest property. That was just to make people seem like I wasn't that good.
Okay.
But what happens is you divide the greens, you get the blues, and you conquer the yellows, and nobody really has a chance.
What, James? And flip it back to us for a sec here.
Yeah.
What James is?
I also had a Pennsylvania, which I believe is one of the blues.
I had the 3 railroads. That
was mortgage though, because somebody else had gone
Here's the
bankrupt.
thing. Flip it back to us for a sec. I just want to get something straight with people here. What James is failing to tell you is that we spent the majority of the game adding whenever you pay tax on a chance or community chest card or whatever, you put the money in the middle, right? And the middle pile amassed $1,200 in the middle of the board. That if you land on free parking, then the person who lands on free parking.
I got a little dice luck. Little dice luck.
The person who lands on free parking gets to take all of the money in the middle of the pot. It's like the jackpot, right? Well, nobody was landing on it. Well, James, you got to attribute most of your win. It's not just all this like James is like talking about. He's like, I had this property strategy.
Listen to me.
James got $1,200 in one roll from the middle pile, and then here he is. Oh, look at me! I got all this money. So all that big stack of money, he's making it out to be like, oh yeah, my properties. I wheeled and dealed just right, and I played the strategy. James won $1,200 on one roll of the dice on a gamble, and that's why you won the game. You didn't even get to use Boardwalk.
May I defend myself now?
Okay.
First of all those properties, the yellows and all that ground game, I had done that prior to winning all that money. I also had on those yellow place, I had at least 2 homes on all those properties. It was only because of the money from the middle, from the free parking, that I was able to put 4.
That's what bankrupted me. The 4, I could have afforded landing on 2 houses, but I landed on 4.
Hardly, but I'll tell you, it definitely did put me over the top.
No,
it
I
put
could
me
have
over the
afforded
top.
$400. I couldn't afford $1,000 when I landed on those homes.
Well, let's agree to disagree on this one.
You know
We've got folks saying, "Oh
Monopoly, been dividing families since 1930 something."
Well, and John, Amy said it right just before you. I don't think you saw this comment, but she said that exact thing. Monopoly breaks up families.
So true.
And it's very true.
Rough deal. There are some actually you can go online. It's kind of sad, but also a little bit funny. You can see family fights on YouTube over Monopoly. Like they're on there.
Apparently, Darcy says, "I think I see something under the table. Who was cheating? I don't seem to see something under the table, but
no, I don't think
it's possible.
I don't know if you can cheat with Monopoly that way. Can you?
It's possible. I have been known in the past to I call it heist the bank.
Heist the bank.
And
James is a professional bank robber in Monopoly.
I think, you know, if things like that can happen in real life, I think that it's, you know, if it's not written against in the rules.
You know what?
Stealing money, I don't think is.
If you do steal money, then you go to jail for an extended
There
period
you
of
go.
time.
And I said we should add heist to
right?
Monopoly.
You go to jail in Monopoly for like a while.
Yeah.
You can't get out in like 20 turns. But then see, farther in the game, you actually want to be in jail though, because then you're you're sitting there collecting your.
Yeah.
There should be a thing where you don't collect money in jail. There should be a rule.
Yeah, I feel like there's some there could be some updated sort of stuff, and there is. I know there's a digital version.
I think there is. Yeah,
that was an old
credit cards now.
That was an older version of the game, but it was in immaculate shape, and it was pretty cool to play on that.
Jail, collect all your money.
It was pretty cool to play on that old board, wasn't it?
Oh, it was really cool. It was an old bar. It was like a classic.
Amy says, James, I sense you're the player that flips the table when you don't win or get your way, like in all Monopoly memes. I definitely do.
Well, he can play, honestly.
Yeah. Linda says, I never realized you two were so competitive. To be honest, Linda, I think that's why we got as good as we did on our instruments, because we didn't want the other to
get ahead of the other.
Get that far ahead.
Kept going ahead together.
And then Darcy says, just stir in the pot. Yeah, I stir the pot.
Yeah,
I'm a pot stirrer.
James just
so
with the cauldron.
Anyways, that was pretty fun. But the county in general was pretty fun as well. John, you went on a fishing expedition.
Well, I did, because you know what's so funny? Like
around 5 a.m.
We went it was early. We went last night fishing when we were down at the county. So this is Prince Edward Bay. So it's actually Lake Ontario proper. So it's actually just the edge of the great big lake, not the Bay of Quinte, but it's actually out on the big lake. And it's just such a massive lake, and it's not even one of the biggest Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are the biggest, right? So anyway, we went out last night on the water, our friend who we were staying with, and you and I, and we were out there for a while chit-chatting and didn't get a single bite. I got a couple nibbles on the last two casts, but that was it. And so I've been fishing. And our buddy and James, were like, they kind of razzing me, saying like, oh, John, big fisherman. Yeah. Well, what are we doing out here? We're not catching anything. So we go back in, and I'm like, oh, well, you know, this is how it is, right? And so we go to bed after the Monopoly extravaganza, play some cards, go to bed fairly early. We went to bed at 10. That's pretty early for me. And I thought, you know what? I might just get up tomorrow morning, see if I can go out on a little solo mission. So I did. I actually followed through. Not always good at that, by the way, getting up that early, but I followed through this morning and got up, went out at 6, went way out of the lake to where it was like 100 feet deep at least, and fished that for an hour. Didn't get anything. So I thought, man, you know what? I might as well just go back. They'll probably be getting up for breakfast around now. So I started heading back thinking, you know what? This is just typical. I come on this trip. Now I'm going to get back, and these guys are going to rib me for like, yeah, you catch fish. Yeah. So I was already starting to think, well, maybe I'm going to just tell them, I don't know how to fish this lake. I don't know what I'm going to say when I get back. So I left my line in the water, and I started trolling back. I wasn't in a big rush, so I was trolling along. For anybody who doesn't know what trolling is, you leave the line in the water while you're driving the boat slowly, and then you catch fish that way. Well, I trolled back, and I hooked a bass, reeled him in. Well, okay, I got a fish. Trolled around in a circle again, hooked another bass. This is when I was back closer in more shallow water, right?
This was when you had decided to come back.
This is when I decided to come back and give up.
So John didn't have a fish when he was on his way back. Just let's put that.
No, I didn't. But that's how fishing works. Okay. So then I hope you got the picture here, almost ready to pull up. Because then I hooked the second bass. I thought, well, you know what? I have 2 bass. That's great. That's a good morning. Right. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'll just stop the boat here and I'll cast off. Folks, I didn't even think about it. I just cast off. I didn't even do it wasn't any technique. I just let it sink a little bit and kind of jerked it along. And I got a bite on the end of this line out on Lake Ontario. And when I say a bite, it was a bite. And then I started reeling in. It didn't fight right away, but then it pulled. I thought, whoa, this is heavy. Whatever's on the other end of this line is heavy. I pulled it in a little closer, got it, whatever it was at the time, I didn't know, closer to the boat. And then the thing dove on me. And my fishing rod bent right down and it went straight in the water. And I was just hanging on for dear life. It went underneath the boat. I thought, holy smokes, I have caught a sea monster. So I start reeling the thing in. I actually pulled it up. And if it wasn't a 3-foot long pike that pulls up beside the boat, and I just happened to net it at the right time, I got it in the boat. And here you go. Here's a picture. That is a monster pike. I have never caught a bigger fish in my life. This was absolutely the apex of any fish that I've ever caught. And sure enough, this was on the way back after I had admitted defeat. And I was planning to tell my best pal and you, just like, well, I guess I don't know how to fish this lake. And then I come with a 3-foot long pike.
How come it's in front of you though, John?
What do you mean? Well, that's how
How come the fish
them,
is in front of you?
You hold them. You hold them a ways out to.
How can anybody really be sure of how big it is?
Well, I got the other picture here that's up beside my body.
Well, then maybe you should send that to me.
Well, I'll send it to you. Here's it. So the standard practice is you always hold the fish out in front of you. But here, I'm going to show you for anybody who wants to know. All right, this is the actual size of it right next to me, and I'm going to send it to James in a text right now. Now, I am 5'11". Okay, and this fish is right next to me. I just texted you, Jamesy. All right. I'm 5'11". This fish was 13 pounds. Certainly the heaviest fish I've ever caught. And I'm, relatively tall, like above average height. You and I are, I think average is 5'9". I think average is technically 5'9" for male, for men. Okay. So, pull it up.
What do you folks think? It is a big fish.
That's a big fish.
But
like
the other photo makes it look a lot bigger.
I know. Well, yeah, because that's how you take fish photos. But that is a big fish. That is like half my height.
It's really big.
It's 3 feet long.
It's a big fish.
Think about holding the if you just actually measure it 3 feet in front of you, that's a big fish.
It's a big fish.
I had a lot of fun. And I came back and I was super humble about it. I just thought, man, do I ever feel great that these guys don't get a chance to rib me today. Anyway, that was fun.
Darcy says, and you never came for a visit, ? Yeah,
I know, Darcy.
Yeah, we're sorry.
We were only there overnight. We were just with these folks here, and we didn't get a chance to make our rounds to the folks in the county that we know and are related to.
Amy says, what fish did you catch? Any great white sharks?
No, because it's freshwater, but northern pike is what it was, and 2 bass.
I don't think she's serious. I mean, people catching a great white shark.
People do actually fish great white sharks in the
what?
Saltwater. Yeah. I mean, you catch and release them.
Can we remember that? I want to find some footage on that next week.
I've got some good videos of that.
Okay, next week. Can we remember that? Can you write that down?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
Akeem says, what? Madison O says, that's so big. Alicia says, wow, that's an amazing catch. Akeem says, OMG. Darcy says, great catch. That could have been dinner tonight. John did bring it back. Did he?
Yeah, I did. It'll actually feed us for a few nights. Like the amount of fish, the amount of fillets from it, it's like the size of a pork shoulder, pork loin. Like it's a huge amount of fish. So Nico will be well used.
Nico says, hey, my friends, your mom is the best. She sent me old CDs. Thanks, Mom, for getting on that.
Wonderful.
Nico.
That's awesome.
And thanks, Nico, for being interested in listening to our old stuff.
Yeah, man. Thank you for that. That's really special.
So anyways, it was a great weekend. We ended up going to a newer diner in Picton, Ontario.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had a really great experience. We thought it was very quick. It was very clean in there.
Yeah,
unpretentious.
Unpretentious.
They were handling the health situation right now really well, and we had a nice meal.
Yeah, it's a sort of a drive-in vibe. It's called the Vic. For anybody who wants to check it out. Now they have been there, as I recall, they were actually I think a cafe that was in the same building as the Picton Regent Theater.
Okay.
But then they've kind of rebranded this into a drive-in old school 50s diner. You drive up, you order in the window. Now this doesn't show the full thing, but they've got this really cool, very trendy, almost Instagram-y vibe to it. But so sometimes that can go the wrong way. Sometimes they can get this really cool Instagram trendy looking feel to it. And then the food is either really pretentious and over the top, or it's not that great. But actually today I thought they struck a really good balance. It was really unpretentious, good, quick food, good tasting, got out to us. I had a really good breakfast sandwich. Tater tots. Any place that has tater tots as a side, I'm totally down.
Reminds
And I had a
me
milkshake.
of anytime I have them though, it always reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
And I just can't get that
Yeah.
ever out of my head. I enjoy a tater tot.
That is the film of our high school generation.
Yeah, I'm
100%.
sure that there's hopefully there's some people out here out there that know of the movie I'm talking about.
sure.
But it's the tater tots.
Tater tots.
The tater tots in the pocket.
In the pocket.
the tater tot, the
So
road
gross.
the road tater tots to enjoy on
Have you ever done that? Have you ever put
Never.
anything in your pocket that wasn't really like wrapped? Like
Never.
That? No, me neither. I haven't really been. I don't know. Like it just. I don't want my pockets to
Well,
get
I
dirty.
have
Less the lint.
no.
I'm fine with eating lint, but I'm not so much about the.
I have put chocolate in like around Easter, you get the little the chocolate balls.
That doesn't turn out well in the long run.
I put them in pockets of jackets,
Melts.
pockets of stuff, and then I'll put my hand in later, and it's not fully sealed either. It's not like in a sealed wrapper because it's kind of just foil that's
a bad deal.
crushed, and when it melts, it like will open. So then I pull my hand out and it's all chocolatey and stuff. So I have done that.
My pocket food is typically when we're skiing. Okay. I always stow away. I think I touched on this maybe a little bit when we were doing the chocolate bar taste test way back. But when we go skiing, I always take a Snickers with me, put it in my pocket. And of course, when you're out there on the slopes, it kind of freezes in there. Like it's really cold, so it doesn't melt. And then I forget about it. And then at about 3 p.m., I reach in my pocket and remember I have the Snickers, and it's the best feeling. It's the best feeling. That's the only pocket food I do. Speaking
of candy, I was in that store I was talking about earlier, getting our little monster mutt, and I've been in other grocery store recently. It's not just one place, John. It is multiple stores with Halloween candy already on the shelves. They've got the Halloween branded.
Are you kidding me? This is unreasonable.
Mix, with the Reese's. They've got the Mars. They got the.
Do you actually say that unironically? Do you actually say Reese's?
I like Reese. I like calling it Reese's. We've talked about this. You can go back. It's probably somewhere in the first 10 episodes, we did a candy taste test. And when Halloween comes around, we're gonna do. Probably do another one.
Okay, but you know the guy's name or the family name. I don't know the history, but it's Reese, right? The bar is called Reese.
Okay,
it's Reese's chocolate.
Right.
Not Reese's.
Reese's chocolate. Right? No, their name
Whatever,
is Reese.
James. Whatever makes you happy.
Their name is Reese.
Chocolate bar.
Is it Reese?
It's Reese. Reese. Reese.
So what happened is I started seeing this Halloween candy and I thought it brought back this tale I heard about, John, because it gave me the spooky vibes, the ghosts,
that guy is staring at us. Sometimes he gives me the spooky vibes.
Yeah, he's going to be great for Halloween for sure.
Petey the censorship owl. He keeps us on track. Make sure we don't say anything we're not
supposed to. Talk about censorship. This might completely censor our video, some of the clips I'm going to show you, not because it's edgy, but because it's from Netflix. But you know what? We aren't that big of a show.
So you know what? Nobody's going to know.
So it brought up this new, it's a mysteries.
That was me crossing my fingers. By the way.
It was an old series. It was an old series of mystery that would tell a bunch of mysteries. Ooh. And they brought it back on Netflix. And there was this great story. I talked about bringing up mysteries and conspiracies in the past. And so I thought of this one as one that really caught my attention in the last month or so. And it's about this town in Massachusetts where a bunch of people from the community all had an experience. They didn't know each other, and they had an experience with seeing and being abducted by UFOs.
So how do we know they didn't know each other, though?
Well, you'll see in the documentary, John, they try to explain it.
Are we going to play it?
Yeah.
Roll the tape.
Roll
that tape.
Yeah. So
roll that tape.
We got this. right here. And again, as I said,
I'm so
this
excited.
this may ruin our chances of having a show, but
Yeah, maybe Netflix will sue us for playing.
Yeah,
We'll see.
maybe. But you know what? It's little clips. And,
It was good while it lasted.
We're giving credit. This is Netflix. It's Unsolved property. Mysteries. Netflix.
I think if we only played
Berkshire's UFO is the episode, and you folks can go and watch the rest. I'm just showing you. I'm teeing it up.
Yeah. If we play less than 10 minutes of it, then
it's around 11 probably.
Yeah. Skip over maybe a couple parts, then we'll be in the threshold of legality. That's just me thinking.
Okay. Well,
whatever. They don't care.
Okay.
They don't care.
Do you need a headphone?
I got headphones in the other room. Yes,
okay,
I do.
So put it right in there, and I'll try to share it here.
Nice. I got the Dalmatian watching. He's watching too.
Okay.
Very nice.
Everything's working okay.
Here we go. Yep. Look, we're even going to give them a logo spot.
Okay.
Nobody's going to tell on us.
On the evening of September 1, 1969, an unexplained phenomenon occurred in Berkshire County, Massachusetts.
They should have hired you for this.
And not even edit them. Messing
and
pause
up
it.
Pause it. On the evening of September 1st.
I just want to say that sometimes we do have to pause it for the sake of I think the copyright of it. Anyways, that's why I wanted to read.
You just have like audio time stamps over this. Every 3 minutes we say, shh, the property of Netflix. I'm already creeped out.
This is the house that I lived in. I came here when my two youngest sons were probably 10, 12 years old. This is where they were wrestling. And they looked up and they saw it and ran into their grandmother, who was babysitting for my two younger ones. And she didn't believe them. And she said not to tell me because she didn't want to upset me. And I came home from that experience and said, I'm not going to tell them because I don't want to frighten them. So that when you people called and said you were going to do this, I called my son and I said, guess what? Years ago, I saw this. He said, Mother, we saw that too. And I said, but you didn't tell me. He said, but you didn't tell us. So all these years, we never spoke of it.
So first of all, I want to say I apologize for it being so laggy, but it's high quality, and you already know that our computer can barely run
better quality than our
email.
camera.
So that I apologize for. The other thing is, I found a YouTube video, and they had professional body language people observe specifically this lady's body language, and all of them said that with pretty high certainty, that they thought she was telling the truth.
Right. So she's either honest or a sociopath.
That's one way to put it. So
no. I mean, like she seems pretty honest from this first little bit. Yeah.
Okay, we ready?
A little bit, go for it.
September 1, 1969.
When was it, James?
September 1.
Okay, no, I didn't actually. Okay, all right, let's go.
It was just beyond dusk. It was getting really dark. And I was coming back from Stockbridge to Great Barrington. The only person in the car with me was Mary DeGrace, who's passed away now. She was my girlfriend. We were just the two of us. We were driving down, and I saw a lot of lights, and I said, there must have been an accident. There must be a lot of police cars up there. Look at all the lights. As I got closer, I couldn't even drive anymore because the lights were so bright. So I pulled over to the side, and I noticed the car in front of us pulled off to the side, too. And I got out of the car. My girlfriend got out of the car, too. I will never, if I get Alzheimer's, the one thing that'll stick in my mind, what happened. This huge object floated right there, and I couldn't see the end of it from the right or from the left. I can't tell you whether it was bronze or whether it was silver, whether it was gold. It was immense, and it was tall, but the bottom part, I didn't see windows, I didn't see any, and most of all, there was no noise. There was no motor, there was nothing, it just was there. And these lights were coming in, and I just looked at it, and within a period of seconds, it lifted up, went this way, lifted up again, and went over the mountain.
Whoa.
I think this lag on the screen is going to save us.
Yeah.
It was
Copyright guys.
It was a real hot day. I remember exactly where I was. I was doing artwork, coloring. My medium back then was Crayola. I'd always go next door to the Shaws, and Debbie, who was Jane's sister, would always, instruct me how to stay in the lines and all that stuff.
He always colored with my sister, who was 4 years older than Tommy. Tommy, stay in the lines. Stay in the lines. I said stay in the lines. And that's what she would do with him. I've seen Tommy since the day he was, brought home from the hospital. That night that he ran out, it scared the living heck out of us.
Before I know it, was getting a little later, and after I did the coloring, I walked over to this window, and this voice told me, "You need to go home now." And that just scared the daylights out of me. I mean, it was like commanding me to go home. And I said to Debbie, "Debbie, I have to go home." And she goes, "Why?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe God's talking to me from those clouds. I don't know." And so I started bolting out the door. I could just feel this energy that was inside me that was like fear from the mental telepathy that I just experienced, and my whole desire just to get from this point here to my house. And I was running full speed, and I remember just feeling like I was flying at this point.
And he was like running right here in place, just constantly for about 5 minutes. He was running in place.
I was running, but I wasn't moving. I just got a feeling that something was wrong. And I didn't know what it was, but it just gave me chills. Off to my left, there was a rock, and there was a path, and we were right on the path here, and the rock was just off to my left. And as I turned slowly, I turned, and a UFO dropped right out of the sky right in front of me. And a beam came on me. And as the light was on me, my hands jerked back like this, and it's like air got sucked out of me.
The light came around him this way towards his left, and the next thing I know, he disappeared.
And in a blink, in a flash, I was gone.
Where did Tommy go? Can't find him.
Well, they film it effectively. Give them that.
We went to the Dairy Queen to get our ice cream, and then we went up to Lake Mansfield. my father.
So I just want to say
back
this
into the
lady
parking-
is from quite a ways away,
Right.
in Massachusetts, but
Doesn't know the other people.
you're
Apparently.
going to hear here in a second. She doesn't know that other boy. I just want to make sure that 39. Okay.
parking lot. And this brilliant, bright aura came around. I get goosebumps thinking about it. And he looked up and he said, "Holy sh!"
Nice guy.
And my mother is like, "Oh, Joey." And all of us kids are like, what is that? And start screaming. He's like, "Oh, we gotta chase this." And I'm like, no, please don't. And my mother's like, "Oh, it's just a shooting star. It's just," and I'm like, "It's not just a shooting star. Dad, please don't chase it. Please don't chase it." And he starts chasing it.
Well, you
My
can't
sister and I,
chase a
we
shooting
were
star.
like shaking.
This is maybe the
She
first
said
clue.
She doesn't remember anything after that. But I remember levitating. And then I remember being on a ship.
This is where it kind of gets wild,
Oh
like in the
my
story.
goodness.
Also, I hope that was enough.
I
I
remember-
marked down
You,
that moment and I tried to, yeah.
you did well. You did
Okay,
well.
you're okay?
100%. Yeah. Actually, kind of like.
Remember
Okay.
being laid out on
For all the
it.
kiddos out there.
That's when I saw Melanie. It was the only face I remember. She just was crouched to my right.
I don't remember seeing him, but he said he remembers seeing my eyes and that I was really scared.
The look of, oh my God, fear.
I was in a room with just young people. They were like children, and then they would just disappear one by one by one by one. And then I woke up and I was at the lake by myself.
What?
And then I had to walk home.
The next thing I know, I'm being laid down at the other end of the property over here. And you can describe it as if you laid down a baby onto the ground, just like that. And when I looked up, there was a beam on me. And with the beam on me, my brother was in back of me, and he said, "Run!" And I couldn't run. I said, "I can't. The beam's holding me on the ground." And then mental telepathy said, "I'll be done in a minute." And in a minute, the light beam went off. I rolled just slightly to my right. I stood up like this. I looked up, I turned around. And it was gone.
Important part is coming up here, though,
Okay.
from the lady.
By the time they picked him up or whatever they did and put him over here, it was 7 minutes.
I did not know Tom Warner. I was older than him. We ran with different crowds. When I met Tom for the first time, I felt an immediate connection to him. It was weird. It was very weird. Because I'd lived here my whole life and I'd never really met him. And now I feel like he's a brother to me.
So that's it. So that's the little tease.
Wow. We'll go
And,
check that out on Netflix. I mean,
you
we just
guys
did,
can-
it was kind of a trailer for them is really what we did.
Yeah, and I just
You're
wanted
welcome,
to,
Netflix. You need more promotion from us, so.
but I'll tell you, the that story, just the fact that there's people, though, that there's multiple
yeah.
people that had an experience that, and there's a lot more in the documentary and they go on, but I thought those were kind of the most interesting connections where those two kids didn't know each other apparently. And they kind of, once they met each other in real life later on in life, they kind of had this realization that this thing happened. Whatever happened, if it happened.
Well, I'll tell you, if UFOs did show up, like it would not be crazy to imagine that the government covered it all up.
Possibly.
I mean, we're
John's bringing up some conspiracy thoughts.
No, but
that's-
like, I mean, if I were in the government, if we're leading a nation, I wouldn't want people to panic. Like, it's kind of common sense, right?
Yeah.
But you know what it reminds me of? So we were touring in New Mexico a few years ago, and we happened to go through Roswell,
Right.
New Mexico, right, which is not too far from Area 51, where
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of conspiracy around there.
And in the last year, when they tried to storm area, they were gonna plan.
Oh,
the
yeah,
storm.
yeah, yeah, that's
That was
right.
such a huge event, or
Yeah.
the idea
a
of it.
non-event essentially,
Yeah,
because I don't
non-event.
think anybody did it.
There was a few, but it wasn't
But
big.
not enough to.
It wasn't
storm
big.
it.
No.
But anyway, we went through Roswell, New Mexico, which was really interesting because this little town, I mean, it really is just like one main drag and a couple offshoots. The whole thing has built its tourism industry, and like all these little shops and little kind of like shops with like Pirates of the Caribbean like setups with green Martian type folks and stuff like that in there. It's so weird. And all the little trinkets you can buy, they're all alien themed. I mean, they've clearly made. I mean, they've clearly made that their identity of that town. It was actually a fun
Makes
day. We had a
sense.
good time that day.
Yeah, it
was
was
a good
cool. I
time.
mean, I before some of the government disclosures on some UFO stuff, I thought it was more unlikely that that UFOs could be around. It seems like
What, government was
the
that
universe is
recent?
big enough for it to happen, but the thing is that if they did exist, I feel like we would likely have already kind of come into contact with them.
Right. Well, that was that video we were
yeah.
showing a few
But I
episodes
mean,
ago.
just recently, the Pentagon, I believe,
Released
declassified a bunch of, because at least to show that governments are researching unidentified objects, and maybe there's certain unidentified objects, flying objects do exist.
Well,
it's
and
just their origins.
Well, also
which are
UFO doesn't necessarily mean alien.
It doesn't. No.
Like UFO could be some sort of secret government
Yeah.
technology that
Yeah.
they aren't letting anybody know about.
It certainly
that,
is
like,
spooky and a
that's
mystery.
actually human made. It's possible.
It certainly is spooky and a mystery.
It is spooky.
Certainly, this story,
And that,
people
like,
seem
the
pretty.
music back there, the ding ding ding.
Yeah.
ding,
So,
ding, it's a, ooh.
it certainly sets up the end of summer / beginning of fall for folks,
Well,
and we
slash-
are big fall guys. And
Apparently,
we
we're
will
in
be,
Halloween season now, based
Yeah.
on the store trends.
So we will be playing up the fall season as we roll into September, October here, and we are definitely.
You and I like a
we're-
good fall season.
Well, to be honest, we love seasons. The
we
seasons.
like all year.
Well, we're
We
big
love the
season
We
guys.
like the
Seasonal-
change of the seasons.
We're
We like
seasonal people. We enjoy the seasons.
all seasons. It means we enjoy
I do.
life, I guess.
No, well, some people where they live don't really have as exaggerated.
Well, that's fair.
seasons,
We don't
yeah.
have the exaggerated. Yeah, we have the
Anyways.
exaggerated season. We have the
And,
winter. We have the summer.
So,
But
if
James
you want
and I,
if you want to drive
we should-
off road, you got to do so in all of the seasons.
I know, and I will leave on this note. James and I, bring it full circle to that great big superstore that starts with the W that we won't promote. When we were on the road, just outside of Roswell and all throughout the U.S. and now in Canada as well, we like to stop at that store and other stores too, local shops, and smell the fall scented candles. Any candles, particularly when you're coming into
That's right.
September and October,
That's what I'm talking about.
and you start smelling the pumpkin pie, salted
The
caramel,
apple cinnamon.
all those scents, they just put you right in the mood, right in the zone for fall.
Yeah.
And but hey, it is only mid-August. It's not here yet. We're still in kind of camping, enjoyed this summer with the cooler nights. Yeah, at least here.
Which is basically fall. Anyways, folks, I think that is all to say. Stop and smell the candles.
Stop, smell the candles.
Good night, folks.